Hey guys, I was trying to get my intro to start and it wasn't starting. So welcome to my channel. I'm so sorry I'm late. Whew, I was on mom duty tonight. And do you ever have your kids like getting ready for bed and then they literally are just like, "Oh, we're not gonna sleep tonight." Does that ever happen? Like, "Oh, I gotta get comfy. Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, mom, I need this stuffed animal. Mom, I need that stuffed animal." The normals, right? So that was my night. So thanks for bearing with me. But I have an action packed live stream here. And and can I just say, I'm really enjoying these longer live streams. Now, if you are going to come back and watch this afterwards, if you're not here for the live stream, I just want to let you know this will be a little bit of a longer video, but I promise I'm going to keep it as on track as possible so that this experience on replay will be just as good. But to all of you in the live chat, welcome so much, and know that it will take probably up to 24 hours for the live chat replay to be available. So if you don't see it right away, that's why. I hope you guys all had a great Saturday afternoon. It was beautiful here in Minnesota. We took our doggies on a very long walk, and I spent some time with Jessie Bear's video this morning. So I'm in the process of putting together a makeup tutorial that Jessie Bear actually did. She filmed, it's like 52 minutes, but I had it all drilled down. I had music added, and then all of a sudden my thing didn't render it, and I ended up losing everything. And so I had it all together, and then I was like, oh, and it took me hours to do it. So that video, if you've been waiting for it, will have to come probably later this week. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about. Now, there's going to be 3 topics we're going to cover today. So we've got some stuff about Meri Brown. We have some stuff about Drake Bell. And we have some stuff about these 2 identical twins who married identical twins. Now, this is a rabbit hole I had no idea existed, and I feel like I got stuck in that rabbit hole, and then I was stuck in the Drake Bell rabbit hole. Like, I have to admit, I was too old when Drake and Bell was out. They had a show on Nickelodeon back in the early 2000s. I actually graduated from high school in 1997. So let's just say I wasn't watching Nickelodeon at that time. When I watched Nickelodeon, they had a show on called You Can't Do That on Television, and they dumped green slime on people, and they played games like Double Dare. Yeah, I'm going to age myself, y'all. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to start out with is a Meri Brown. So we've been talking a lot about the sister wives, and obviously on this channel, we are a commentary channel. I give my opinions. I've had the opportunity to speak to people that are associated with the Brown family. I've had the opportunity to learn a lot about polygamy, and I've had an opportunity to kind of understand from people who know them or who have been around them kind of what the dynamics are of this family and what the hiccups are of polygamy. Okay, so one of the things is that Meri and Cody have this estrangement, and so there's constantly in the tabloids right now that Meri and Cody are over, and I'm still not convinced of this, because like every day there's a new headline, like Meri shares this post on her Instagram, she's getting ready to leave him. And for a minute I was like, yeah, that's totally true, except she's literally been doing this for like a year. So I'm not sure if she's actually leaving him or if she's just posting crap for her LLR customers to make them feel inspired. I'm going to go with that one. Okay. So 90 class of 96 in life. All right. Class of 97 in life. All right. So Meri has been part of Lularoe for a very long time. She actually, I don't even know, several years. The clothing line is, I don't know. I'm sorry, you guys. I can't support it. It's a multi-level marketing company. It's a pyramid scheme. And the clothing is grossly overpriced, the patterns are just like over the top. I remember when it was super popular when it first came out. I remember this is when I still went to church. Yes, I used to go to a church. I remember walking into church and seeing women like decked out in it, and I couldn't help but feel like I was in a kindergarten class, because it was just so wild to me how they would mismatch patterns, and that's like what they were telling stylists to do. Like the most off the wall patterns. Now, if you can wear it tastefully without mismatched patterns, I say go for it. But back then, I swear, people were wearing 47 different pieces of clothing together and all the patterns were different. So I've never been a fan of it. And then I will say I once bought a pair of leggings because I had a friend that got involved in this, and I felt guilty for going over to her house to one of her parties. And I bought a pair of leggings, and I think I bought a skirt, and the leggings ripped within 4 hours of wearing them. So that buttery soft came with a price. Okay. Let's talk about Meri. So Meri is going to be right here. So this came out of Reddit. Now I'll admit, I'm actually not in Meri's Facebook group. No, I'm not in this group. I used to be, and I did it under my real name until she found me in there. And I don't think she likes me. Anyways, this is what was posted, and I was trying to find the actual video of it, but there wasn't any trace. But it says, Meri, I'm watching her live right now, and someone asked a question and she yelled, and she didn't consider it yelling at the person asking it, saying that they should have read her rules and things beforehand, basic rules of claiming clothes, and said, you promised to read that, so follow through with your promise and respect everyone's time, mine included, basically saying that she didn't have the time to answer questions. Another user asks, are you yelling at us? And Meri says, do you feel the need to be yelled at? She's not in a great mood today. And then they continued with, this. So then this person starts doing a play-by-play, and she says, now is if you like to claim someone, she says, now she's like, if you claim something accidentally twice, you have to pay twice, and you are getting 2 of them. I am not looking through the bins. She puts each order in a bin to find out if you've already requested the item. And then they're saying, imagine having her as a mother. Yes. Her daughter is just like her, said the other person. I don't get it. Just don't pay or cancel the order if she charges you twice. It's just an invoice. What's she gonna do? Send you to collections? And they said she's gonna lose her customer base. And then it says, someone just called Meri a bitch in the comments because someone claimed a shirt and she gave it to someone else because she couldn't find the comment. And the person told her that everyone can see the comment, and Meri said to her, no one tells her how to run her business. And then the person said, oh my God, this sounds better than the actual reality show she's on. And I would agree, this does sound way better than the actual reality show she's on. And then someone else said, on this episode of Meri and the Pyramid. I love that. Okay, now Meri is saying that she hates the crystal ball lady. Y'all, she hates me. I love that. I'm sorry, Meri. She doesn't like me. I will admit that Meri actually blocked me on Twitter, or not on Twitter, on Instagram, and it's not for what you think. She actually blocked me because I did a video about how she was involved in a pyramid scheme. So I did a video because a lot of you guys were asking about LLR, and I had been tracking like all of the lawsuits, and I got kind of frustrated because I was like, they were closing their like warehouses, and they have all these people filing for bankruptcy, and they have all of these people that have like zero, like people have to like unload their loot because they have so much in like their garages. Like there was so much that came out in these lawsuits of like the executives talking about how they ordered so much merchandise and then they didn't pay for it. Like there's a vendor out there that says that Lularoe owes them $50 million for unpaid clothing. And then there's other people that are saying that because they didn't have proper storage, some of the clothes arrived moldy when it was delivered. So I was not a fan of LLR, and I did a video critical of her, and that's when she blocked me. It wasn't about anything to do with her and Cody. It all came down to LLR and me saying that it wasn't a good idea to get involved in her scam. So this is probably why she doesn't like me. And it says, now Meri says she hates the crystal ball lady on YouTube and told people not to give her views, and it is comical that what she views are real. Now, I might get some things wrong. You guys, I'm not pretending like I know everything about the Browns. I'm commentating on what's happened on social media, and you guys come here for my opinion and have some tea, right? But I think this all stems from me basically saying that she is selling a scam, and she just doesn't like that. I mean, thanks for the viewers, Meri, I guess. Whatever. I just saw that and I was like, that's funny. And this Reddit, by the way, hates me too. So I'm not very popular on Reddit. But who is? Like, who is popular on Reddit? Nobody. All right, and then the final one says, someone just, oh wait, that's already been. Okay, so that was it. Sorry, that was all of them. Okay, so Meri doesn't like me. She doesn't want you guys to watch me, which means you should watch me, right? Like, if someone hates you, that means you're gonna like go and see and check them out. So, right? I feel like a lot of you have mentioned me and said, ooh, someone in chat actually has a first experience with her and says, I actually watched one of her Lularoe lives back in maybe June, and I asked her a question, and when she snapped at me to read the rules, which I had left, and I didn't go back. So you were actually going to buy something in her stream, and she yelled at you? Why? Yikes. She raises her voice all the time at her customers on her lives. She is rude if they ask anything that's in her post. I was shocked the first time I heard her. This is sad. You know, there's this, when you go into her group, there's this like pinned post that basically says, you like pinky promise and swear that you will read the rules about how to request and how to do things, and you better do this now. And I'm just like, pyramid schemes and MLMs are exploiting others. They are, you know. If you were popular on Reddit, you would be the one on it. Okay. All right. So what do you guys think? Are you surprised by this? Obviously, some of you have direct experience with this. So okay. First off, I understand that like when you're doing a live, like you can be in the heat of the moment and you can definitely pop off. I mean, come on, you guys. I have popped off. I can be petty. I can be rude. I mean, everyone can. We're all humans. But to do it when you're selling a product, that just seems weird to me. Like, I worked in sales for 16 years, and I can very rarely tell you any time I ever yelled at a customer or like got angry at someone that needed my help. I was the kind of person that was always like bending over backwards and getting yelled at. Like when people had like unruly people on the phone, I was the one that they passed it to because I could calm them down. So I just can't imagine like snapping at someone for simply wanting a question just because you didn't understand her, 40,000 word pin post about how to request her clothes. All right, so we are all human. She's a nut job, says Dana. Got it. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about, so obviously people are not surprised. And moderators, can we please squelch the discussion related to any other creators tonight? We don't want these sort of distractions at all. Okay. So let's get on to Drake. Okay, so a couple days ago, there was this thing going out on Twitter or on TikTok. So, and I actually made a TikTok in the same thing. So there's this like song called Bulletproof and a song called Your Bulletproof, right? And it's like, this time I bulletproof. And people were saying, like, do you think you can hurt me? And then you were supposed to share something like something that happened to you that was so severe that nothing someone online could say to you would ever make you feel bad, right? So, like, Tana said that she was married to Jake Paul. Tana's manager said that he was Tana's manager. And I shared my own experience of having almost lost my son because my son almost died. And then having gone through, as his mother, a lot of surgeries and how hard that's been for him, but also for us as parents to, love a little boy so much and like have to watch your child endure all of that and then endure that trauma of almost a child like stopping to breathe in front of you. So that was what I shared. And so other people were sharing things similar, where like different experiences that were very, troubling. So one of the people that shared hers was a woman named Jimmy Ono. Actually, that's not the name that she went by, but that's her stage name. She was dating Drake back in, I think, 2006 to 2009. She says that she started dating him when she was 16 years old. So this is what okay, let's pull this up. I don't want to play the video because they will actually, even like 10 seconds of a song on YouTube can get your butt a copyright strike. So she did this one, and it was for their thing, and she said, "Do you think you can hurt my feelings? I've lived with and dated an alcoholic, abusive Drake Bell from 16 to 19." Okay? And then that was actually followed up by a video where she says this.
I would like to start out with saying that I don't really care if anyone believes me, as this is my story, my life, and something that I went through. It wasn't until recently that I actually realized that abuse isn't something that all women have to go through. When I started dating Drake, I was 16. I was homeschooled. I moved in with him. I was singing. It wasn't until about a year when the verbal abuse started. And when I say verbal abuse, imagine the worst type of verbal abuse you could ever imagine, and that was what I got. It then turned into physical, hitting, throwing, everything. At the pinnacle of it, he dragged me down the stairs of our house in Los Feliz. My face hit every step on the way down. I have photos of this. I don't even want to get into the underage girls thing. I mean, I will, but I'm scared. First, I would like to...
Okay. So she says that between the ages of 16 and 19, she was dating him. She says that he has a drinking problem and that he is very violent, okay? And she says that anyone that has known her for the last 15 years will know this about her. So she shares this. Now, Drake, I have to tell you, has denied this. And I have his response in all of these screenshots I'm about to show you. So let me get them up. Here is what we're going to be looking at. All right. So she's been responding a lot, and she's been posting not only on Twitter, or not only on TikTok, but she's also been using her Instagram stories. And she shared the same video on her Instagram stories. And in that same video, people began reaching out to her. So people who had been involved with Drake, like Drake's other girlfriend that dated him for 5 years after her. So he got involved with this woman named Lane in 2010, and they got engaged in 2011, and then they split up in 2016. So this is like not that distant future, or distant past. Distant future. So she said, myself and Peyton was her name, and Gillian, Drake's other long-term girlfriend, are working with our attorney diligently to bring the information to you all. So now 3 of his ex-girlfriends all are making the same claims against him. And he says, and if you have been abused by him, I hope that you can find strength through this, and till we are allowed to disclose any more, we won't really be saying anything, she said. But she shared a bunch of screenshots. And it was screenshots from Peyton basically saying the same things, like, I dated him for 5 years. I had the same experience. And they sort of shared like the different things that they went through. And she said, I will stand by your side and back you up as I went through the same horrific stuff as you did. And then, they talked about how, like, can we talk about the underage girls? And they're both very nervous about it. And they talk about how they're going to share things about what's going on. And, there's, so if you have 2 girlfriends back to back and then a 3rd girlfriend all making the same claims, I mean, anyways. But then it's not just that. Then there was all these allegations about underage girls and different people coming out and saying, when I was in eighth grade, when I was 15, he actually did things to me that were very inappropriate. And now he's being not only accused of DV, but RAPE. So he has multiple girls that are now adults accusing him of doing things when they were 15 and 14 years old. And the Jimmy, it's not her real name, but we'll just call her Jimmy right now. She alleges that there are hundreds of girls, underage girls. Like, he was obsessed with them. And one of them actually made the claim that it happened as recently as a year ago. I met Drake in 2007 when I was 16. He was dating you at the time, and that didn't stop him from effing my 15-year-old friend. And then, this was her talking to her sister saying, I remember everything that you talked about. So the Drake stuff is like, it's ugly. And then I started digging into him. So I was like, who is this guy? Like, so you've got 3 ex-girlfriends, you've got multiple like underage girls making these claims against him. And I started like doing like when you get into a Google rabbit hole, and I started finding things, and it was like Nickelodeon star Drake Bell arrested for suspicion of DUI. And he got like 2 DUIs back to back in 2015. So she says he's an alcoholic, and that would sort of match that claim that he has, if he has 2 DUIs. Not everyone that gets DUIs is an alcoholic, but 2 back to back is kind of a big deal. And that can actually get your license suspended for a very long time. But I found some other things, like his co-star Josh Peck apparently was getting married, and Josh and him, I guess, don't talk anymore. So he got married in 2017 or 2017, yeah. And he was supposed to be getting Drake for some reason decided he should have been invited to this wedding, but apparently Josh and him had been estranged for a very long time. And they hadn't talked in years except for a couple tweets here and there. But Drake, instead of congratulating his friend, he was petty mad, and he made it about him and went on Twitter about how Josh didn't invite him to his wedding. And it caused this humongous rift between the two of them. And so he has, this narcissistic personality of some sort. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. Maybe he's not a narcissist. Maybe he's just drunk. I don't know. But he had the opportunity to be with some, to say congratulations to him, but instead bitched and moaned that he wasn't invited to somebody's wedding that he hadn't talked to in at least 3 or 4 years. So I feel like when you have someone making sort of a spectacle of somebody else's experience getting arrested for DUIs, and I feel like I had heard this stuff about the underage girls before. I feel like when I heard it, it wasn't surprising to me. So I feel like this has been something that's been a rumble in the background for a very long time, but it's just now coming out. And I do hope that if there is any legal recourse that can be taken, and if these facts are true, I do hope that there would be an investigation done. There hasn't been any discussion around it. Obviously, his ex-girlfriend says now they've gotten their lawyers involved. But his statement, even his response to Variety was so weird, and I'll read it for you. It says, I never abused my ex-girlfriend or did so many of the other things Melissa claimed on her TikTok video. He doesn't even address the underage stuff. He just says it's not true. All of it. As our relationship ended more than a decade ago, we unfortunately both called each other terrible names, as often happens when couples are breaking up, but that is it. Clearly, Melissa still felt close enough to me just last year that she was comfortable reaching out to ask me to provide her with financial support during a tough time, which I did. I do not know if today's behavior is some kind of misguided quest for more money or attention, but I cannot and will not allow these offensive defamatory allegations to go unchallenged, and I'm reviewing my legal options. And I feel like this is always the staple response from the classic ABUSER. Minimize and then deflect. So, and I'm not saying he's guilty, but I'm just saying this is so textbook. I didn't do it, and she's just money hungry, and she's mad. She just wants my attention. I don't know why. You know, like, this is the same stuff that Paul has been doing to Karini. Like, she's sleeping around. I got an STD. It's all Karini's fault. You know, it's like, this is what they do to take all the heat off of themselves. And it's so gross. And it's like that response right there was like, you did it, didn't you? Obviously, it's all an allegation. But 3 women are claiming it, and then multiple 15-year-olds are also claiming it. And it's making me believe that I'm so happy I didn't watch this show. But did you guys know that he still has like a music career? Yeah, I guess so, apparently, in like Mexico or something. He has like a couple singles, and he had a couple albums, and he's like touring, and he has this one song on Spotify. He's got like, I don't even know, like, he sounds like, I don't know, he tours. He was sharing videos on his like Instagram where he's got like 100,000 people at concerts watching him play. Now, I don't know if the concerts are solely for him or if they're like, you know, large concerts that have multiple people, because I've literally never heard of this guy being an artist, because his biggest song on Spotify, it's a Spanish song. It's like Fuego something. I don't even remember what the last part of it is. And he speaks in Spanish. Or it has a Spanish title, but he speaks in English. Because when the song was there, I was expecting it to be in Spanish. Okay. And you hadn't heard his name since Drake and Doc. Yeah, he makes music now. So who knew? And I actually didn't watch the show. Apparently they played Step Brothers, and it aired on Nickelodeon for I think 3 or 4 seasons. And he's done some other voiceover work and some other acting. Josh Peck has done, he starred in a show called Grandfathered with John Stamos. And I don't really know much about Drake Bell other than every time he's in the headlines, it's because he's done something wrong. Okay, so like, what do you think? Like, what do you make of this? Do you think that the response there is like, well, she asked me for money, so you can't believe her because she's poor and she's doing this for clout? Like, that's the kind of sense I got from this. Like, she's doing this for clout. Or do you think that like this is true because so many other people have come up, and because of his pattern of behavior? Does it shock you? Are you surprised by it if you watched the show? I'm kind of appalled, but obviously you want to wait to find, you know, all of the facts. You know, we've seen this before, and I'm not going to say that, you know, all these people are lying, but sometimes people will come in with some claims and they don't have any proof. And that's been the biggest criticism thus far, is that she puts out this claim and provided no evidence. So I don't, do we have to provide evidence based on, like, isn't someone's testimony their evidence? And if 3 other women are all also saying the same thing, where there's smoke, there is fire, says Sharon. I got it. It's hard because of cancel culture. That's wild, but I believe her, says Madison. Okay. So you don't have to believe it. You can wait for evidence to come forward. You cannot. It's all up to you. I'm just presenting it. I just feel like something smells, you know? Something stinky. Something stinky. At least with the girlfriends. I can't say anything to the underage kids. Like, I can't say anything because it doesn't seem like anyone that has actually had the experience has actually come forward. Okay. So I'm going to track it, though. Drake was arrested for a DUI. He was actually arrested for 2 DUIs. He's had multiple. So he very well could have a drinking problem. But other than that, I don't know a whole lot. So we'll have to keep tracking this to see if any other information comes out. I'll stay on top and watch her Instagram. I'm now following her on both TikTok and on Instagram. So we'll see there. Kate Burns says, I always believe the victims first. I do too. I try to go with that always. Right. And it's 3 girlfriends for sure. And it's his long-term girlfriend too. Like, the one, so with her, Jimmy, you could say, well, it was when he was a kid. He was really young back then. You know, maybe he was just young and dumb. But if you've got someone that was dating him up until 2016, like, he was in his late 20s. He's 34 years old. At that point, it's probably just a pattern. All right. Maria says it smells fishy for sure. Sherelle says it's all allegations. They're individuals who served decades in prison with just a testimony and no evidence. That's true too. Sometimes you only need testimony if it's compelling. Okay. So my last rabbit hole for tonight is kind of a funny one because I was like, all right, we're going to do the Meri Brown fighting, yelling. That's funny. Or that's just random. And then we're going to do Drake, which was heavy. So I wanted to find something on the end, the tail end, that would be sort of light. And this one is ridiculous. So there's these twins, and they had this special on TLC called The Twin Sane Wedding, which is funny because it was I think it aired back in February of 2019, but TLC has removed this episode from being able to get it off of Hulu or Amazon, or you can't get it off of Google Play. Like it's gone. Like, so I can't actually find the full episode of this, but it's these identical twins who do what's called mirrored twinning. And so they dress like, they look like mirrors. So she parts her hair on one side and the other one parts her hair on the other side. And so here is, let me pull this up for you. When I saw this, I was like, this is ridiculous. Okay. So these are I'll blow this up and put this over my face. So this is them. They're called the Salyers twins. And it says, guess what? Both couples are pregnant. We are thrilled and grateful to experience overlapping pregnancies and to share this news with you all. Our children will not only be cousins, but full genetic siblings and quaternary multiples. Can't wait to meet them, for them to meet each other. So this is fascinating, to be honest, because they're both, so the girls are married to identical twin boys, okay? And they all met at a twin festival in Ohio. And somehow they all meshed well. Part of me wonders, like, did they both want to get married so bad to an identical twin, they just make it work? Like, in my brain, that was what I was thinking. Like, do you have to just pretend just because you want fame, or does this really work? And how did you pick which twin? And how is it possible that you all got along so well? Anyways, so they're pregnant at the same time. But then this sent me into this rabbit hole, and I was like, this is so weird. So I went onto their Instagram, y'all. So this is the four of them, our double anniversary. So not only are they married, but they had their weddings together, they honeymooned together, and you guys, they live in the same house together. So they are like, there they are. They says, from sea to shining sea, happy 4th of July from the Salyers twins. There they are with them again. Merry Christmas, wishing everyone a joyful holiday season. There they are. So do you see how they do their hair? It's like they're a mirror image of each other. And so their wedding was featured on TLC. And they started off like doing sort of this promo called My Unconventional Life. And the ladies talked about how, you know, they just love being together. They don't want to be separated. Whenever they dated somebody and they didn't have a twin, it just felt like their other person was missing. And they went to this twin fest every year in Ohio, in Twinning, Ohio. And they suddenly meet these guys the very first year these guys go. And what are their names again? It's like Brianna and Brittany, and I can't remember what the guys' names are. The guys are like you know how you have like the girls that seem really fake and phony? These girls seem super fake and phony. Like when you watch them in videos, you're like, you're so fake. Like the way that you're talking. They had like the Micah Stauffer talk where it's like, hi, I'm suspicious, and you're like, you know that like when the recording's off, they've got lower, deeper voices and they're total bizzos. So, but they, you know, they dress alike constantly. They went honeymooning together. They do literally everything together. They wore the same dresses for their weddings. So this was from their actual, like, this was like how they described it. So the sisters have been immersed in a twin subculture, dressing alike, double dating, and considering themselves as two halves of a whole. So there wasn't much trouble when they set out to plan their joint wedding. She said, it's been a fairy tale come true. Marrying twins is something that's very important to us. Even when we were little girls, I can remember being in kindergarten knowing that that is what we saw for ourselves. We knew that the chances were incredibly scarce, but the stars had to align for our dreams to come true. So part of me is like, you know, when you want something really, really bad and then you just make it happen, I'm like, what happens if one of them like wants to leave? Do you think they will like be like, they'll stay just so that they can be with their twin? Doesn't this seem a little bit odd? I just, even their parents say that they're alike. Now, the weird thing is, you guys, is while I was doing this research on this, there's like an entire channel of like leaked audio of like Britney assaulting some guy and them getting a restraining order and claims that they filed all these false reports against this guy and put him in jail, and that Britney is awful and her whole family like covers for her. And there's like multiple pages about this with multiple videos. Like one channel has like 40 videos about this whole scenario. So we're going to get into how these cousins will be related. But that's the weird part. Like, I was just looking for information, and then there's this whole rabbit hole of haters that hate them and say that they're fake, phony frauds. I guess that comes with... Okay, so here they are on Instagram. And so this is what they've always wanted to do this. So this was actually from the Daily Mail. It says, Britney and Brianna Dean have shared every milestone together. They are going to be marrying identical brothers, Josh and Jeremy Salyers, in August, and they're planning to start their families together by synchronizing their pregnancies. So last spring, they tell the Daily Mail that they're going to do like coordination of when they start trying to get pregnant because they want to have kids at the same time. And one of them even said that if one of them gets pregnant and the other one doesn't, that they will just like wear like a pregnancy suit so that they can look like their twin while they're pregnant. So there we go. And then here's some more about them. So here's some more about the genetics. So here's more about their unique stuff. It says they all live under the same roof. They're going to have help. They're going to help each other raise each other's families. And they are openly synchronizing their schedules. So they all live under the same roof, and because the girls were always together, the guys were all together, so they're going to like have their families be together. This is a whole lot of togetherness. And they say, well, we all live together, but we're not always together. How do you even have your own set of like how do you even have your own relationship if your sister and your brother is constantly in your life? Yeah, a pregnancy suit. I'm not even lying. She did say that. These people are, when I saw this, you guys, I was like, I know these people, I know my subs are going to love this. So this is them in their house. And they apparently dress like each other every single day. And the girls say that they just want to be alike because people were always trying to say that they were so, like, would always try to find the differences in them as they were, growing up. And they said, like, oh, you're the shy one, and you're the tomboy, or you're this, or you're that. So they said that they just wanted to take all the guesswork out of everything and just look identical so no one could tell them that they were different. It's so weird. I mean, listen, I know a lot of... I was best friends with a set of identical twins in high school. And they were very close. Very, very, very close. I mean, they even got they went to college together. They lived in a house together all throughout college. They dated and got married around the same time, but they didn't get married and move into the same house. But they did work in the same job in the same department for years and years and years. So I definitely understand, by being, best friends with them for such a long time, that there is this sort of, you can't do one without the other. But most twins do not live together with their identical twin husbands. Codependent, says Nadia. Okay, now here's the interesting thing is about the genetics. So I found this on the Daily Mail. Like the Daily Fail came through, you guys. The Daily Fail came through for this one. But this all comes from the Daily Mail. And they spoke to a geneticist who actually said that identical twins actually share 100% of the same DNA. And so that the two couples' children will be genetic siblings, sharing 50% of their genes with their brothers, sisters, and first cousins. So basically, even though they won't be identical siblings, like they won't be from the same set of parents, their aunt and uncle have the exact same DNA as their mom and dad. So their mom and dad are basically the same equivalent as their aunt and uncle. So they all have the same genes, no matter what. So even though they're first cousins, genetically, they're no different than their sibling. Isn't that wild? I had no idea. So this is what the geneticist said. He said, identical twins are very special. Within the first 2 weeks of pregnancy, a single fertilized egg divides, and then they both implant into they become two people. So they say in the case of the Deans and Sailors, genetically the two women are indistinguishable from one another, as are the two men. That means that each child will share as many genes with the aunt as they will with their mother, and the children are, even though the children are cousins in real life, in terms of their DNA, they're actually siblings. And it's not the same thing as genetic incest or inbreeding, and there's no issues with like, you know, genetic deformities or anything here, because they're not genetically like overlapping with the same genes. So like this is basically like what they look like when they're out and about. So I want to know about this rabbit hole though. You know how like when you're like, what if one of them gives birth to twins? Yes, so there is a higher probability, I've heard. Now I don't know if, see, identical twins are not typically hereditary. It's fraternal twins, I think, that are, right? Because an egg splitting isn't a genetic thing. That's just, I think an egg splitting is an anomaly, maybe? I don't remember. But one of them is actually genetic, and I think it's fraternal twins. I don't think it's identical twins at all. Yeah, and my best friends in high school that were twins did not have the same personality at all. One of them was like very wild and crazy, and the other one was like totally by the book and like studious, and like one was like run with the seat of her pants, go everywhere and do everything, didn't care, and the other one was like dotting all of her I's, making all of her lists. Like she would make daily lists and stuff. Fraternal are two separate fertilized eggs, correct. I think it's paternal. But the egg has to split. That would have to be some serious super SPERM. Super swimmers. Fraternal twins are hereditary, says Madison. Okay, that's what I thought. If there are twins in birth, it is the female, exactly, because it's her eggs that have to do this. So she would have to release multiple eggs when she's ovulating, and she would have to be the one that would be doing that. In terms of yes, fraternal means that there's two eggs, and identical means it's one egg that splits into two embryos. So it has all the same DNA, it just splits into two people. And that, I believe, is an anomaly. I think that just happens accidentally. It's super swimmers, yes. Super swimmers! Could you imagine, like, if someone could have super swimmers that just plows into the egg and splits it in two? Like, imagine, like, boom! And then it splits in two? Like, maybe? I don't know. I'm in on my endocrinology. I'm counting this as study. Jesse says that fraternals are passed down from the mom because they have hyperovulation, which is passed down. That makes sense. That's what I was guessing. And Fatima says, my sisters are identical twins. It hurts them a lot when people try to pigeonhole them into a type so they can be differentiated. Yeah, I can see that. You know, and I don't feel like, you know, some people just want to be who they are. I can totally understand that. I do know that the chances of twins increase with the mother's age. Yes, because that's called dumping. So as we get older, as us ladies get older and our eggs get older, we start shedding more of them every year. And so every time we ovulate and every time we have a cycle, we release more eggs. That's true. You have 5 sets in your family. Genetics are wild. Wow, that's great. Yours was 1 egg that split. I hope Shouty is doing well. You guys, Shouty just had, she's in the hospital, so keep Shouty in your thoughts. She is hanging out with us in a hospital bed. We love you. We love you. We love you. All right, so I want to make sure that we go through and I give all my shout outs to my members. So, hey, Lisa. Hey, Robin. Hey, Bunny Melon. Hey, Shouty. Hey, Maria and Incredible Anyway, and Jean, and VM, and Dawn, and Alexandria Swan. Hey, girl. Let's see. Bree Bach. Hey, girl. MG, hey, you. Shouty. Indiana, Mama D. What's up? And let's see. Do I see any more of you? Jean, thank you for the super chat. I'm loving these mashup videos. You are so welcome, girl. And let's see, are there anyone that I'm missing? And if you are a member and you are watching, Therese, hey Janice. If you're a member and I haven't shouted you out yet, make sure that you tell me because I think I got most of you. Oh, Willow, hey Willow. Hey Willow. Hey Therese. Hey Rachel. Hey Jen. All right. Hey, Katie. Hey, Jesse. Hey, Nadia. Mama of 6. Hey. Hey, Leticia. All right. I love it. I know some of you are silent watchers, but I try to do my shout outs to my members at the end and say, oh, Mrs. Smith, thank you so much. Don, Shouty, hope you feel better soon. Yes. Shouty, we hope you feel better soon. She's had a really rough year, you guys. So, oh, Cheap Shot. Hey. Monica S. Hey, Kate. Hey. I love you guys for watching and being here and supporting us. Hey, Kristen. Thank you so much. I love this. All right. So I would love to know what your thoughts are and like this twin story. Oh, QC Native. Hey, girl. Love you. Love you guys. Obviously, I love my non-members too, but one of the perks of membership is getting shout outs from me in videos. Okay, so let's, I feel like there could be more of this rabbit hole with these identical twins, right? I know this live did go by really, really fast, and I feel like this was a really good live. This was a lot of fun. And I'm really digging these 3-in-1s. It's fun. I like finding different stories. And it gets me a chance to find things that maybe wouldn't do well by themselves or would be a little bit different than what we would normally cover. And it's allowing me to open things up, which is fun. And I love to live stream. I love interacting with you guys. So let's start a campaign for a full-time TV show about these people. Seriously. I want to go into the rabbit hole. It was called Twin Sane Wedding, but you can't find the episode. You can find clips of them if you go onto YouTube, but I couldn't find the full episode. When I literally put in their name, all I found was a bunch of these clips of this guy claiming that they falsely accused him and he had to go to jail. And they got a restraining order and that they're a bunch of big fat liarsons. All right. Rabbit holes are definitely never ending. Oh, hey, Shanae. Or Shana. Or Shania. All right. Thank you guys so much. Before you go, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And make sure that you leave some comments afterwards if you've got some more that you didn't have anything to say. Share this video on your social media. Let your friends know about me. And if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you are interested in becoming a member, you can. If not, no big deal. We appreciate everyone, whether you are a member or a subscriber or just a viewer. We are so grateful every day for all of you that tune in and make this community a wonderful place. And I am probably going to be going over to, I think, the Rock a lot after here. So I think Unirock is going to be hanging out with Kyle, who's my friend. And I'm going to be in the chat just hanging out, supporting Kyle. So if you want to come chat, I'll be over there for a little while. But thank you guys so much for having a great night. And I hope I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye.